Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews. Yesterday I talked about the Dark Knight Trilogy, and today I'm going to be talking about the weird Batman spin-offs that we got. I was mostly new to these. You have your Dark Knight Trilogy, you have like your Batman movies, the Tim Burton, and then Batman and Robin, and all those. And then you also have these weird ones that aren't 100% connected to anything. I'm just going to be pushing these all together in one video since I'm too lazy to put it all in separate videos. So today we're going to be talking about Batman 66, Lego Batman Movie, and Batman the Mask of the Phantasm. I'm Brayden, this is Max Reviews. Welcome everybody to Max Reviews. And first movie that we're going to be talking about here is Batman 66. And as watching this after just knowing regular Dark Knight Batman, Nolan's trilogy sort of a thing, this is an extremely different time period, different Batman. And I think this was based off of the show that they had. I think it had like a few seasons, and they just did this as like an actual movie version of the show for maybe combining a few episodes. And it's got all the villains in it. It's got Batman and Robin in it, and man, this thing is pretty dated. Like, if you watch this today, modern, it does not 100% hold up. There's no visual things. It's pretty cheesy. I can say for it, they did use, like, practical. They actually used, like, a boat and a helicopter with action scenes. And this is my first time ever watching this. It's very, very, very different sort of Batman. But I can still respect it. It's a different time period, different Batman version. Batman 66, it's from the 60s. And for a 60s version of Batman, I could understand this. Is it the worst movie ever? No. It really is just, it's dated, and it's just very dated. But still, there's a few funny things to it. There's this funny bit in the beginning with a shark, and they got to get the shark repellent and take the shark off. And you can obviously tell it's a fake shark connected to Batman's leg, and that's just funny. Just to see, it's funny not exactly in the way that you would expect with Batman. You'd expect it to be funny because there's a shark on his leg. No, it's funny because you can see the fake shark attached to his leg. So it's just, this movie is weird. It's different, but it also has a sense of sort of like if you were born in the 60s and you were watching this, you'd have nostalgia for it, because the Batman suit obviously is not, it's like extremely obvious that anybody could come up with this today. Anybody could do a better Batman costume than this today. Robin really doesn't have anything to do in this movie. He basically says, "Holy cow," or "Wow," or "Holy fudge stick." It's just some weird over-the-top thing for saying "wow." That's all he does in the movie. Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is one of the things. Batman and Bruce Wayne. Batman in this movie doesn't really do anything. There's this bit of a character arc with like the person that he loves is actually a villain with Catwoman. So Batman and Bruce Wayne don't have a whole bunch to do in this movie, and this is just still a weird movie. I keep saying that, but it is a weird movie. I guess it must have had a bit of a higher budget than the actual show, because they actually got like a bat helicopter and a bat boat. The bat boat just sounds weird. You also had a bunch of villains in this with you had Joker, you had Catwoman, and I think you had some other ones probably that I have already forgotten about. I think Riddler might have been in it. Just quite a few villains all together in here. But just the movie overall, I could say for the good, it's still like an over-the-top, campy version of Batman from the 60s that I think it's cute sort of to see this sort of version of Batman. It's not the grounded version of Batman that I'm used to. It's very, very different than I'm used to. But this is what I guess he was in the 60s. So I could sort of understand he was sort of this detective guy. And if we're leaning into more of the negative stuff, if you really want to hear me rant about this movie, there's stuff like Joker. You could obviously tell that he had a mustache under there, the actor or whatever, and they were just painting it over, which is so weird. It is so weird to see like a Joker with a mustache. Joker doesn't do a whole ton in this movie. They're just basically like, "Oh look, it's Batman, blow him up," sort of a thing. There's this whole thing that with Bruce Wayne in love with a person that's actually Catwoman. And you have this like long scene, like I don't know, 10 minutes of him just talking with her at dinner. And then it's revealed that she's Catwoman. He's just like, okay, I gotta bring her in. Which it just dragged out too long for this movie. I just wanted it to be just insane, whatever, who cares? Sharks attacking Batman from the Bat helicopter, sort of a thing. And it is sort of a bit like that at times, but whenever it tries to actually bring out emotion or drama, it does not work. For me, at least. It does not work in any regard because you don't really care. This is just like a little fun, like, look at this weird Batman from the 60s rather than an actual, like, oh, this is going to be, like, I'm going to go see the Batman to see Batman make pun jokes. And just some of the stuff, Riddler, some of the riddles that they do, it just makes no sense. Like they said, we were at the sea for Catwoman. We were at the ocean. It's just weird riddles that they come up with this. It just makes no sense. This movie doesn't make any sense. It's a lot of puns in it too. A very 60s version of Batman, but I don't hate it. It's not great. I get 100%, like, if it's in the bottom 3 when I rank the Batman movies, don't be surprised. But, like, yeah, you can't really blame it. It was from the 60s. It had this different version of Batman, which we're not used to. But if some movies say The Batman, which is coming out, it's already came out. I haven't seen it yet, sorry. But if I see that and it's about the level of this movie, then I'm going to be disappointed because modern standards have vastly changed our perspective and thoughts on a Batman movie. But this is just an old Batman movie that just wants to give you a fun time. The opening credits, it says, it's just here to give you a laugh, to enjoy the ride. And I think it sort of did that for the most part. That's the positive stuff that I could say about it. It had me have a few times where I was just like, oh, cool. And a little bit of fun. Like when Batman and Robin punch each other, there's just these words, wham, bam, punch, sort of. Just words coming out when they punch the villains. So, yep. It's fine. Batman doesn't really kill anybody, as you could probably think. That just does not happen in this movie. We haven't gotten that grounded version of Batman yet. So, yeah, I think this is weird. And it's just the different version of Batman. That I would 100% not recommend this. It is not, unless you're a big fan of it already. This is just a weird version of Batman. If you're going to watch this, you're going to be like, this is not Batman. Because this is not your Batman. And this is the Batman in the 60s. So, it's an interesting, if I had to give it like a score, maybe I'd give it a C-. A C-, and I don't know, 5.5 out of 10, 5 out of 10, something like that. Probably a 5 out of 10. Because, it's just very dated in every regard. Okay, next on the list we have Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which it's another movie that came off of a show, Batman the Animated Series, which I have not seen old Batman show, or Batman the Animated Series. I've heard it's really good. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think I'm going to see it anytime soon, but I watched this movie, Batman the Mask of the Phantasm, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. So, it's basically Batman, Bruce Wayne, this Phantasm thing, which looks sort of like him, is killing guys, and everybody thinks it's him, so they're attacking Batman. That is interesting right there. This came out, let me check when this came out. Okay, it came out in the 90s, 1993. So it is an older animated version of Batman, but it does. This is like the classic Batman that you want. There's that distinction between Bruce Wayne and Batman, and there's this stuff going on with Batman. Like, he's really trying to figure this out. He's getting just beat up trying to figure it out, going through everything. He is a beat up Batman. Like, this was rated, I think, PG, but like he gets blood on his hands, beat up from villains and stuff. He gets shot. So a very more brutal Batman. I liked this movie a lot more than I thought I would. And the Phantasm is this interesting villain because it was made up especially for this movie. It wasn't in the comics or anything. So I think that's a nice thing that you could do. It's interesting. And so you also have the Joker in this movie, who is absolutely amazing. It's voiced by Mark Hamill. I think he's really good as the Joker in this. I've heard about it. I didn't even know which Joker he was playing because there's so many different versions of Joker in animation. But I guess he was playing this one, and he does a great job as Joker. The Phantasm, spoilers, just in case you haven't seen it and you're interested in seeing it, skip over the next 5 seconds. The Phantasm is the love interest that he's been into for the past, like, since the beginning of the movie. Okay, so that's interesting. Spoilers over. And that just adds this emotional depth to it. And also you have, like, these mob bosses going all around. You have the classic sort of Alfred. You have all this stuff going on. Very, very interesting how it does it. The action is pretty smooth with how it goes. Batman, just the look of Batman is extremely classic. And there's that same thing where there's Batman, there's Bruce Wayne, Batman, Bruce Wayne. They are like the same person. You could see that distinction when he puts on the mask and when he takes off the mask. Rather with some Batman movies, I'm going to get into that with the Batman movies from Batman 89 to Batman and Robin. There's some problems with that where you can't really see that distinction between Batman and Bruce Wayne. They're like totally different characters, it seems. But in this movie, at least, there is that similarity between Batman and Bruce Wayne. The twist works great. The characters are all great. Getting to see just insane version of Joker that's blowing up everything. Awesome. And then the Phantasm twist works really well. The Phantasm looks cool, could have this cool stuff, and is also a physical threat. Joker is just so great in this movie. And so this is just your classic sort of Batman that I really enjoyed. And the only sort of criticism that I could give it is a bit too short. It is 70 minutes, 1 hour and 10 minutes. So it's nowhere near as long as a bunch of these other movies that I've been talking about, but it's still, it's just needed more. It's better than these movies. It just needed more time to flesh out everything, to give it more stuff in there. And I enjoyed this movie. I gotta say, it sort of surprised me. I was going back and watching all the Batman movies, and this one actually surprised me. Is it gonna go against the Dark Knight or Batman Begins? No, it's not gonna touch those. But for the old Batman movies, pre-Nolan movies that we've gotten, pre-2000s, this was like one of the best ones that I've seen from them. So I actually enjoyed this. So if I was gonna rate it, I think I would give this a B+. So a B+ and 8.5 out of 10. It was good. It's not that amazing like 9 out of 10. It's good. Okay, final one that we're going to be talking about here today, the Lego Batman movie. Now, for Lego Batman, he had been introduced first in, like, Lego Movie, which I absolutely love the Lego Movie, even more so than the Lego Batman movie. But this is a Batman movie where originally I had seen no Batman movies, and I watched this, and I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. I laughed. And that was that was 5 years ago. That was back when I was 9. So I didn't really understand a whole bunch of it. But after seeing all the other Batman movies, well, not all of them, I still got one more to go, and also the Batman to go, but it holds a lot more emotional depth than I originally thought it did, and also it pays tribute and really understands Batman. It's sort of like the Spider-Man No Way Home for the Batman movies. Spider-Man No Way Home took all the elements from like every Spider-Man movie and just combined them into one movie. And the Lego Batman movie takes all the elements from other Batman movies and combines them into one movie in a different way than Spider-Man No Way Home did. Because Lego Batman movie, it could have its own story and all this stuff with having references to every other Batman movie, and also just the villains from every other Batman movie, references to the Dark Knight, which had me grinning this time, and then also just having this cameo factor, but not that big of a thing with seeing all these villains. I think that's more fun than actual big cameos. It's like, oh, look, it's Sauron from Lord of the Rings. It's sort of like cool. Or Godzilla. That's cool. And so just this sort of stuff is very, very good. And then how it handles the thing for seeing the other Batman movies, it handles it perfectly. And this is one of those movies that I really, really just enjoyed so much when I first saw it. But does it hold up? I think it does. I absolutely love this movie. I just finished watching it last night, and it's even better than I remembered. All the references, all the like little Lego animation details that you can do with Lego, all of the little references to Batman, and then also at the emotional core of it, Batman's alone, and he comes together as his family. This is a Batman that grows. This is a Batman that grows beyond. This is a Batman that just, even more so than in all of the Tim Burton Batmans and Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Mask of the Phantasm, every other Batman movie, maybe the Nolan trilogy, this Batman truly has the biggest character arc in his own movie. Even the Dark Knight and Batman Begins, he does have a character arc in Batman Begins, but not as big as in this movie. And then in Dark Knight, he doesn't have a huge character arc. The character arcs for Batman have always been sort of lower, but this one just takes it. And that's the main focus of the entire movie. Just Batman, he misses having a family. It's his biggest fear, and he passes over the fear. Will Arnett is amazing as Batman. I've loved him doing that. It's so cool and fun to see him do that. Little music things that he comes up with, it's really fun. Robin in this movie is great. I absolutely love him. He's the best Robin that we've gotten yet, even better than the Robin from 1966. Big surprise, that guy's probably already dead. But just the Batman movies have always been these sort of darker movies, but he's never really had his family around him in the movies, never. He's always dark and brooding with Alfred, and he finally actually has this sense of family. Even in Batman Forever, which I also finished last night, he gets Robin, but none of that other stuff happens. Like, it doesn't seem like the light has turned into Wayne Manor. Everything's back to normal. Everything's awesome. No. He's still sort of dark Batman. But in this movie, you feel it when he actually gets the family, when everything actually pans out. It's just so great. And I absolutely just love this movie, how it begins, how it ends. The characters. I gotta talk. The villains in this movie, like Joker, doesn't get enough respect in this movie. Like, he might be a bit cheesy at times and saying that he's rubbing his butt all over Batman stuff. It might be a bit too cheesy for people, but Joker just in this movie is really good. It's the Joker that Batman and him have been doing this for years, for 60 or 90 years. I think it's been forever. And Joker's over Batman. And it seems logical that Joker would make the choice to just have it over because he could grow. he decides that he will grow. He will do that. Batman doesn't want to. So it's just such an interesting concept where you have this Batman that's been doing it for, what has it been, 90 years, 60 years or something. Batman's just been Batman and the Joker, Batman and the Joker, Batman and the Joker. Catch him, gets away. Catch him, gets away. All the villains. And now you have something that breaks the cycle. And that's just very, very interesting and great, and I really love it. This entire movie is so fun to watch, with just my little brothers or anybody, really. It's just so great, and also a really nice continuation of having, like, little master builder, little references to the Lego movie in it, which works. You have all the other, like, Lego superhero characters with Superman, and you have all the villains up in there, Voldemort, all the WB villains, and I wasn't really even thinking of any other villains that really should be in this movie because it fits sort of the movie, and also WB, Warner Brothers, for just using all their abilities that they had without getting into Star Wars or Marvel or anything. So they did a great job with the Lego Batman movie. My favorite movies out of these, I would give it an A and a 9.5 out of 10. I really love this movie. Not as good as the Lego movie, but I absolutely love the Lego movie. One of my favorite animated films of all time. And the Lego Batman movie it does a great job as a tribute to Batman, and I absolutely love it. So those are the 3 Batman movies that I got reviewed today. Looking forward, I got my review for the 4 other Batman movies that I haven't reviewed yet, and also the Batman. And then I have a ton of rankings for Batman, the movies, the villains. I'm going to be doing a tier list. Batmans, I'm going to be ranking the Batmans. I probably won't, but I was considering ranking the costumes. I'm wondering if I could rank something else. I have a ton of rankings to do, so thank you so much for watching. I'm going to check out the Batman as soon as I can, probably sometime in the next week. Leave a comments down below what you think of Batman 66, Batman and Robin. Batman 66, Batman the Mask of the Phantasm, and the Lego Batman movie. I'm Brayden. This is Max Reviews. Comment down below your thoughts on these movies, and also sort of give your perspective. Did you just first see these? Have you not seen these? Have you been watching these since they came out? Also, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brayden. This is Max Reviews. Brayden out.